few slides, so some time limit, 2 months for the resolving work, but I don't know where it comes from. And still, we did hard work, 2 or 3 months. Of course, not the whole day work, but it's just the time scale. But we sent several letters, and long letters explaining administrations why we should need details and such things, and you should do that. And so it's not for us the time, total time spent, but the work we did. And after that, I'm an engineer, so never read carefully everything in the texts. So just after that work we did, we noticed that, no, in 9.5 it says, it's for inform. So why did we do the work? Or actually, we could have made it in shorter time if we had noticed that. And it was a surprise confirmation from BR, they confirmed that, and still there in Article 11, which is for notification, where those notifications receive a favorable or unfavorable finding. There is no reference to the subsection 1A. So BR cannot give any unfavorable finding based on the fail in the process. So as finally we sent as required the report to the BR. I don't know what happens, where it went, because it's not published, and so perhaps we hear that sometime. So as a whole we get results first from the 3 administrations in time. 1 administration accepted, and 2 cases we closed. If I may here thank the administration Pakistan, who was the one who agreed, I want to thank personally. And for the 6 other administrations we had 2 acceptances. One was about the excluded territory. 2 cases the second one here is we got no answers in 2 cases, and we closed that. One asked to receive more information and evaluation of the interference, and that was not possible, we closed, and so on. So the reason for the closed cases, as we called them, was that one, the procedure is one only for information. Second one, that we couldn't get agreements or did not see any way to go forward with those. And third one is that, anyway, non-interference basis. Here are the publications, so it took a little bit more than 1 year, the process, and it's now registered the satellite. I forgot to mention, I think in the beginning, which was in the slide, that the satellite will be launched in the end of this year or in the beginning of next year. So firstly, it's good to recognize that the text in radio regulations, we should not look this direction, but this direction, and some other administrations who have made the texts there and can make the changes. So what was strange, that administrations, they complain that they get unacceptable interference, but they are not motivated to continue the process. So we don't know reasons for that. It may be that they may make it just for the case that if some interference occurs, so that they can say that, okay, we complained about that when it was in coordinate in the process. Or perhaps they do not have any easy means to really evaluate the interference. We have programs, and as I said before, if someone wants to hear a little bit more about that. It's developed for our own purposes. It's quite simple to use the program. Or perhaps they have not been engineers and they have read the text which says that it's only for information and therefore did not continue. The text in subsection 1A seems to be totally misleading. It really looks like a coordination process. Nearly same wordings there, but nowhere agreement. So that's something which I think should be corrected and changed, or perhaps something else should be done. In the middle of the page, it's text about the terrestrial services, which, it's an own thing. On the basis of the results, it could be questions. What is really the benefits carrying out the procedure? The only thing what happened with that was we excluded actually 2 administrations from the service area. So why all the work? If I may, I have some additional observations on the frequency range 345 megahertz range. Just mentioning that it's not the only interference to the other systems as terrestrial systems, but also between the small satellites. But at the bottom of the page, I tell that I processed all the satellites which were in the SRS, which Attila may tell what are the satellites there, but there were 101 satellites there, and a total 400 emissions. And I calculated the power flux density just below the satellite when it has the lowest altitude. And the result was that I had this kind of cumulative curves. So the result was, as it's in the bottom of the page, that in 80% of cases the emissions caused power flux density, spectral density, in the range of 25 dB on the Earth. So just think about the Earth station receiving from satellite perhaps near horizon, where the attenuation was 13 dB higher than upwards. And then you get a satellite with the highest value, which is 25 dB down. So there is nearly 40 dB difference between the levels there. So you really have to consider that. And that comes to the point that there is really work which should be done for the satellites to prevent such things happen, because it's also inside the small satellites frequency ranges, so between those services. So there are per 1 hertz and for 1 kilohertz, and there has been marked the other satellite. Thank you.
Thank you. Should work. Working. Just few comments before switching the microphone to other one. You have a feeling that the process is waste of time, because I see from the presentation a little bit of frustration of Pauli. We did things, whatever, and frustrated. Several comments. First one, please understand, this satellite is only in amateur satellite band. That's why the comments and the consequences are totally different, because if Michael or Mr. Pla will hear that the APIs are not necessary for scientific services, they will blow up. Because really the API is the key message, because we are in geo, non-geo. Your satellite is non-geo and doesn't matter whatever service is applicable, the complete procedure of API, not subject of coordination from A to Z, that's why including API. B, is applicable also for your project.
I have a lot of things to say about what happens when one gets to the coordination, because I have seen the difficulties. They are nearly the same, the attitudes of administrators and so on. So that was one reason why I expressed this here for these satellites. Hope it will not repeat.
Yes, the other thing is that a lot of administrations are commenting because they are scared. A lot of administration, they say to us, they take the CubeSats as space drones. This is comment number 2. Why a lot of administrations are commenting? Just because not to forget the service area exclusion. Speaking regulatory, there is only the broadcasting sound satellite service has a right for exclusion from the service area. That's why we are waiting. If the administrations between themselves fix it, fix it. There is one thing which we will speak about tomorrow. And don't forget, all of you, if you are in difficulties, there are serious provisions in the radio regulations for assistance from the Bureau. That's why anytime you can write to us, no, it's not like this, it's in the radio regulation, that's why, and we are obliged to help and say this comment is not relevant, this administration is asking for something which is absolutely not relevant. Plus, if the service area exclusion is absolutely irrelevant for such a services. Only condition is you cannot hit the PFD limit. If you don't hit the PFD limit, we read your report which you send. We are not obliged to publish, but we use it for the examination, and based on this you got favorable findings, protection recorded in the master register. That's all, the assistance and everything. And tomorrow we will have special sessions on the workshop to understand how to do API, how to do comments from administration side as an operator, from administration side to comment to other project. We have one session on harmful interference, we will have one session on the assistance. That's why if you stay tomorrow, the real operators or who can stay, you will have still full half-day session on the regulatory part. Thank you. The next is Mr. It's there, but it's in just a second. Tuesday morning. After that, it's still on the PDF. ACOS, don't worry. I will be shocked if it's not there.
It's okay.
That's why Tomo ZBONTAR is from Slovenia. It's also electrical engineer from University of Ljubljana, working in quite long time in telecommunication authority. Now, if I understand, you are consultant and helping in the telecommunication, spectrum issues, international issues, and working in different, including terrestrial system, mobile, GSM, etc., etc. And I understand you are the victim in Slovenia to finish the regulatory part of the ACOS, on the ACOS, the Slovenian project. Let's go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I would like to say a little bit about ACOS. ACOS is a regulator in Slovenia. We are regulating telecommunications, postal services, media, railway, and also frequencies. We are monitoring and managing frequencies. That's why we are also doing this. Okay. Coming back to today's topic, I will talk about NEMO HD satellite, which should be launched in the end of this year. So the satellite was developed by two organizations, one from Slovenia